Let's fast forward to our last group, the Cinderellas. One of the best parts about any tournament, there's always a team or two with low expectations that makes a deep run no one saw coming. Less of an award, more of a prediction. Taking the big clubs off the table. We'll just say Chelsea, Lyon, Barcelona. Obviously, those are not Cinderellas. We'll take those three off the table. Outside of them, which squad do you think is the best bet to make a deep run and why?
So courtesy of our friends at Football Reference, there are 6 teams in this 16-team field that have a positive expected goal differential. 3 are those juggernauts that you mentioned, Barcelona, Lyon, Chelsea. We know they're not Cinderellas by any stretch. They are the favorites. And then 2 small-time football clubs you may have heard of, Bayern Munich and Eintracht Frankfurt. So who's the 6th with that positive expected goal differential? Well, buddy, it's none other than Brann in Bergen, Norway. And that's after they've played Lyon twice.
Insane.
They still have a positive expected goal differential. So at this point, we know what time it is on this podcast. I love everything about the way they play. They have the potential to make a real run. They're coming off this draw against Lyon. Now they have some time to rest. They're not in league play right now. So they get some time to train and really focus on their recovery. When we get to the match, the next match, we can have the famed rest versus rust argument. We need to bring those NFL primetime style arguments to international football. Obviously, that's going to be part of our job. I think we can have fun with it, but I think they're going to be rested the rest of the tournament. They are not afraid. They had 60% of the ball in a match versus Lyon. You have to walk away with that with a level of confidence of like, we can hold the ball versus anybody. We don't have to always play underdog counterattacking football, but we can also be good at underdog counterattacking football. How about this for a mix? Here's their 25-plus crowd. You have goalkeeper Aurora Mikkelsen, forward Larissa Krummer, who I think has handled herself very well in this tournament. You have your defender and your captain, Ingrid Stenovic. You have Nora Idali, Raquel Engesvik, Amelie Eichland, and Caroline Holland. They're all 25-plus. These are players who have played in important matches. They've played in important league games. They've seen some things. Now, who are your 22 and youngers? Oh, I don't know. Signe Gaupset, one of the best players in the tournament. Justine Kieland, who has 2 goals. Martine Ostenstad and Joanna Tanilla. Those first 3 players are all Norwegian. Joanna Tanilla, she is Finnish. You have this mix of, I have explosive, full of energy young players, and then I have a nice core of 25-plus experienced players. They have to be flying high off that last-minute draw, and I think they're going to be dangerous for the rest of this tournament.
I definitely agree with that. We talked about whether or not 2 matches against Rosengard could dull the knife of Barcelona. I think, sort of tongue-in-cheek, had some fun with that conversation. But I think 2 matches back-to-back against Lyon for this bronze side is going to fire them out of a cannon in their next 2 matchups against Slavia Praha and St. Polten to close it out. I think they clear the bar, get into the quarterfinals off this next match against Praha.
Yep.
And like you said, not having any league play to contend with, no injuries, no managing minutes. They can just kind of focus here. They can just take in tape, put together some game plan, get a good feel for who they might face in a first quarterfinal matchup. Not to get ahead of themselves, but they do have the luxury of getting ahead of themselves a little bit if they want to.
Sure.
And like you said, they've just been at the level, right?
Yeah.
If you get in to the quarterfinals, you're a couple matches away from the final.
Yep.
And I don't think we've seen the best of Signe Gaupset yet. Like, she has the physical tools. She's got the aggressiveness. She has the confidence. And she's skilled. She's not just big and fast and strong. She's got legitimate skills that can put pressure on any defender. And again, in these low-scoring, high-leverage matchups, she can flip a game as quickly and as easily as anybody else can. And we saw that turning a loss into a draw in their last matchup against Lyon.
Yeah, we couldn't be more all in on Gaupset. I will go back to real quick. I feel like, and she's got some of the credit, they've shouted her out on some of the broadcasts. I really like the way Raquel Engesvik plays up front. Every time they bring on Nora Idali, she immediately creates a more attacking presence on the pitch. And Larissa Krummer, like I mentioned up top, your standard number 9, she is out there floating around, trying to be a good connector with Gaupset and Engesvik. You kind of play a triangle with those 3, and then all of a sudden, Justine Kieland is standing in the right spot, and she's available to hit a strike for a goal. So I think the plan always seems to look good when they're on the pitch, and I think they got the players to execute it. They might not all be household names yet, but I think that they're going to walk into every match exactly like you said, we're on the level. What argument is there that they don't belong in this tournament as a team that could go far in the knockout stage?
Yep, we haven't seen it as of yet, so I definitely love the pick for Cinderella. Now, I took a long look at a bunch of teams for my pick. Kind of wanted to go Benfica, but the more I thought about it, Benfica's obviously top of my emotional power rankings. But I wanted to kind of make a pick that I thought really kind of represented an unexpected run. So maybe this is a little bit of a cheat, considering that this team is a second class, maybe third class citizen in their own domestic league, Division 1 Féminine. And also considering how they started, no wins, 2 losses, no goals in their first 2 group stage matches. I'm taking PSG as my
Let's
Cinderella
go.
team. Now, this team really showed out in 2 matches against Roma. Could have just been a good stylistic matchup for PSG, but their talent is just tantalizing. I think if they play their best, they can give anyone a run. And wouldn't it be something if they get another shot at Lyon, who's owned them? Lyon is 7-1-2 against PSG over their last 10.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they could be pretty jazzed for a matchup, and we could be heading towards something like that. A fun Group C stat. So they're obviously in Group C. All 4 Group C teams have a 0 goal differential.
Love that.
It's fucking wild. Group C, the group of life, continues to deliver. I have a sneaky feeling that if PSG can escape this group, even if it's second to an Ajax or a Bayern or even a Roma, who the fuck knows, after their abysmal start, I could see this team really banding together as a result. You're in the tank for Brann. I'm in the tank for PSG captain Grace Gayoro. I just think her leadership and knack for stepping up in the highest leverage moments is just off the charts. And if PSG unlocked something here with Kototo, Chawinga, and Baltimore up front, with Gayoro and Karshawi distributing, this team, like I said, could give anyone problems. So my Cinderella pick, 2023-24 UEFA Women's Champions League. Give me them fighting Paris Saint-Germain's.
I love it. Love this pick. Full cosign on Katoto, Chawinga, and Baltimore as a trio. And then you, like you mentioned, you have Gayoro and Karshawi providing the service. I also want to throw in De Almeida anchoring the defense
Let's go.
as just another giant plus. I love the attitude of this squad. And I know we talked about it. I like De Almeida and Karshawi as just like, I'm elbowing you in the ribs if we're going for a ball. And I'm going to try to get away with it pretty much every time. And you're going to have to live with that in the cold Paris evening air sometimes. Like, we're out here, you're going to feel us on the field as we play. And then we're going to try to get the ball up forward to these incredible athletes with great speed and great intelligence, great link up play between them. You play at PSG. Could you imagine the coup if you knock Lyon out of this tournament? Even going into that match, how they could be feeling in that dressing room leading up to the Lyon match. That's why we love sports.
Yeah. And if PSG sort of like string together another, maybe a win and a draw, or maybe even 2 wins, and they go in riding super high into the knockout stage,
Yep.
they're going to be mentally ready, because Roma came in, they had 2 matches against Roma. So Roma drew Bayern, match day 1, 2-2. Then they beat the brakes off of Ajax 3-0.
Yep.
And PSG was like, you know what? We're going to bully the bully. And it all started from Dalmeida, like who you mentioned. They just were not going to let that Roma team come in and outwork them or out wrestle them or out hustle them. They really showed something after kind of showing nothing in the first 2 matchups. They'll get some retribution against this Ajax side, who they lost to, and this Bayern side, who they lost to. And if they're able to kind of flip those 2, I think they've got as good. I mean, it's just they're talented. Like, they've got a fucking talented roster, and they have finishers. They've got people that can control the ball. They've got defenders. They're starting to gain a little bit of an identity. And it's kind of cool to see, like, this PSG side, a huge global brand, a little bit of an underdog, even in their own country.
Absolutely.
And definitely in this tournament. So, like, they get to kind of, like, switch it up a little bit, play the underdog role. And I think they've really been embracing it.
Lyon is the juggernaut in Division 1 Feminine. And like you said, so it's weird for PSG, which has been the juggernaut in Ligue 1 for a long time on the men's side. Now, if you're PSG, your marketing pitch to every elite player in the world is, we're catching up to Lyon, and you live in Paris when you play for our club. I would be remiss to say there's another Parisian club sitting on 6 points in their group, Paris FC, who I took a really, really long look at as my possible Cinderella.
Same.
Because they do a lot of the same shit. They do a lot of the stuff that you and I like about a club where we'll be physical, but we're also going to play fast. We understand that sometimes we have to play underdog football, so we're going to run out on the counter. And I think with Paris FC, you have Enadozie in goal, who, when she plays at her max, she can win the match for you in a knockout stage game.
Yeah.
French football looking great in this tournament right now. I think all three teams from France are awesome and well deserving of attention. It's just Lyon, they have that head start with all the world-class talent that they have.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked a little bit last episode, more of the national team side,
Yep.
and the Musovic performance against the U.S. fresh in my mind. She faced 11 shots on target, 11 saves, and she basically flips that match single-handedly.
Yep.
You could definitely see something like that from a Nadozie as well. Anything else you want to hit before we get out of here?
Again, can't say enough about, I love PSG as an underdog. I love Brann as an underdog. Something tells me, even if we end up with Barca in the final, I think we're in for some surprises along the way here.
I believe it. And once we get to the quarterfinals, those matchups are going to be tasty.
Yes,
We're going to
absolutely.
get good team versus good team. I mean, I think in the World Cup, a couple, obviously you had really good teams. Germany, Brazil, like bounced early. I don't think they even survived the group stage. So you had some surprise teams in there, but I think we're going to get 8 rock solid sides. And we're going to get some really, really good teams, Group C, Group of Life included. We're going to get some really good teams go home and not even make that quarterfinal. So really, really looking forward to that.
Same here, man. Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, even just looking at 1-2 in every group right now, Paris FC doesn't make it. Bayern doesn't make it. Frankfurt doesn't make it. If you went to the knockout stage today, Roma doesn't make it. Yeah, exactly.
Real Madrid's already out. It's insane.
Yeah, it's wild. So, I mean, those matchups, tasty to say the least.
Cheers. All right, man. I think we did it. Women's Champions League action returns with one match. Slavia Praha versus St. Polten, happening January 18th, and the full slate of Match Day 5 games kicking back into gear the following week, January 24th and 25th. Before Match Day 5 kicks off, we'll have another preview for you. We'll talk some quarterfinal scenarios, as well as which matchups have us the most excited, so we can all get properly prepped for the action to come. This has been another episode of Into the Channel. Subscribe or follow us, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you like to watch or listen. Ratings and reviews, always appreciated. At ITC_pod on X, at Into the Channel pod on Threads. Big thank you to my co-host, Mr. Grant Angle, for being my young player of the season this year for this Champions League tournament. Much appreciated, man.
Buddy, I appreciate you. I'm not that much younger than you, so I appreciate the shout out there, trying to at least paint me in a good light on that. Everybody, enjoy the break. Enjoy New Year's Eve. I suppose by the time this gets out, we are recording this on New Year's Eve, so people won't hear this until after. But just don't drink and drive. Call a cab. You take the train. Take the bus. Be safe out there. Everybody, have fun. Let's not get each other hurt out there. Just like football. Let's have a good time. Let's not be crazy or stupid with anything, please.
Agreed. Amen to that. And yeah, even though some of the big leagues, some of the big tournaments are on a break, we'll be back again next week.
We got takes. We got other stuff to talk about, so we'll be around. No extended break for your boys. We're out here. We're grinding the tape. We're doing our thing out here.
Absolutely. All right, man. Have a great New Year.
You too, man. Talk to you soon.